Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft Amplified server. We are here in the Nether at Skullstorm, the farm for getting wither skeleton skulls, and this thing, it needs to come online. I know you want to see it. It's been a while. We've been working on this for a few episodes now and we really need to get it up and online, and that's exactly what we're going to do right here at the beginning of this episode. Now this was my plan for the last one, but we got caught up with all of those things like chatting about Spumwack, checking out Tango's new game. That guy just whizzed over to the side really quickly. I'm going to have to watch that back because that looked very strange. And yeah, and then we got caught up chasing down some wolves through the Nether. But yeah, it is time for us to get this thing up and running. And the problem is that we have a platform on this side that's 14 wide and a platform on that side that's 16 wide, because I built this middle bit out of line with the middle bit down there. And I said that I wouldn't change it. It was too OCD, but I have changed my mind. I've decided, hey, it's an amazing farm. We've got to make sure that every little thing about it is amazing too. Now, the last 3 episodes that we've done, all of those have had time lapses, and I said, do you know what, we're not going to do any more, but I changed my mind. We're going to do one more time lapse. And there you go, we did it. Probably not what you were expecting at all, was it? A very fast time lapse indeed. Just wanted to get this out of the way. You can see it's been moved over. This bit is now in the middle. And now we can talk about how we're going to activate this farm and how it actually works, which I haven't gone into too much detail. So you've probably seen these before. These are the spawning platforms. When we put some netherrack in the hoppers at the back, which is one of the things we've got to do next, and then this thing is going to be ready to activate. So when there is a mob standing on top of the half slab, they're activating the tripwire, and that means the pistons are going to alternate, push the floor back and forth, and the mob is going to fall through. So that's how we're going to get them from the top all the way down to the bottom. Now notice how these are full blocks and the ones above are half slabs. The magma cubes are going to fall through the slabs, but they're not going to fall through the full blocks, and that's because we don't want the magma cubes all the way down the bottom. We also don't want this guy pestering us while we're trying to record. So the magma cubes are going to land on the solid blocks, and then they're going to make their way over to the sides into these little containing areas where, if you have a look, there's a gap there, there and there. We need to put in some sand and some cactus, and the cactus is going to kill the magmas for us. And we also have these little like catching areas on either side as well. So I've got to go around and put in the netherrack one by one, but also before we do that, what I'd like to do is just tidy up the area a little bit, put some more glass in certain places. For example, over the edge here, I've had the occasional magma cube sort of drop off from the top, and I think what I want to do is extend the glass around the outside here up to this kind of height. So any magma cubes at the top that just happen to spawn on the edge and drop off aren't going to land on the glass and make their way outside of the farm. And then down at the bottom, again with the glass, I've had a few blazes fall down and set the carpets on the middle on fire. So what we're going to do, and this guy right now would be a great demonstration, except I do not want to get this caught on fire again. And he might actually do that. Let's shoot him before he sets anything on fire other than me. And let's actually just quickly check, because it looked like something was on fire in there. Nope, we're good. The carpets are okay. Awesome. So what we're going to do is extend the glass down to the height of the carpet. I actually can't click on that, can I? There we go. So we're going to bring it down to there so there's less gaps. There's also gaps on this side over here, but there's not much that we can do about that because of the tripwire. So a few more adjustments, then we've got to put in the netherrack into all of these hoppers. As you can see, we've got 3 rows on either side, so that's 6. And 12 in total to go around and do. It'll take me a little bit of time, but once we've done that, that means this thing is going to be running, and then we can move on to the wolves, which are going to be down here in the bottom area. I'm going to show you how they're going to kill all of the wither skeletons. Okay, many things have been done, and I'm feeling good about this. Let's talk about what I've done quickly. So I've added the cactus on either side and in the middle, so any magma cubes falling down there are going to end up in those. And I was thinking actually other mobs can end up in there as well, but that's when I was setting up the rest of this. Of course, the mobs are on the platforms, they can wander over to the edges. However, when this thing's running, they're going to fall straight through as soon as they spawn. So what I've done is I've gone around and put an item in the end of each hopper, and I haven't really had a way to check. It's literally been a case of just being very careful, making sure I put one item in each hopper so that all of them have one and it works correctly, because the way to test is to run across the platforms, and that means falling through them, which makes it very difficult, obviously. So since I've been standing down here, I haven't seen a lot of activity, and the thing is, we don't have a perimeter. However, we do have this big lava lake, a lot of open space, which means there's just less places for things to spawn, and so it gives us a good chance to make this work well, being all the way down the bottom here. So one of the things that's going to come soon, of course, is working on the perimeter, making the spawn rates a little bit higher. So we're starting to get some skeletons falling down. That's good to see. I'll take those. And over on this side we'll probably have a few items as well. There you go. A couple of arrows. Not much. I've just been standing over here for about 10 minutes and we've got a few bones and arrows because of it. So not a lot spawning at this particular moment, which is kind of worrying. Remember, this is an AFK farm, so one of the things that you have to do is just spend some time here not doing anything. So I've bred up a whole bunch of these guys, and as I was making the wolf army, kind of dawned on me that I'm probably not going to need this many all at once. But for now, what we're going to do is probably take about 8 of these guys. We'll have some in reserve in case they get hurt, which they actually will do apparently when this farm is running. So now they're checking out the skeletons. They want to go and kill them. I modified the entrance over here. We're using glass, by the way, so that things can't spawn. That should be a glass block. Let's change that quickly. And when we go and stand in here on the test world, the one that Snow Crash made for... that looks really funny. So we're like jumping into the same spot together. Is there even like anything up there? Because if it was a skeleton, wouldn't it have got crushed by now? Oh, it's a wither skeleton, of course. It's not going to get crushed. Right. So when we go and stand over here, these guys should then sort of pathfind to me and therefore pathfind to the other guys. And I wish that this right here was glass so that we could see what was going on. Yeah, they're distracted on that guy, aren't they? That's kind of worrying. I'm not sure what to do about that. Maybe I'll make them sit again, nudge them over here, and then activate them. But it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a problem, isn't it? Let's get some leads and move these guys over manually. That's probably a smart idea. Do I have any leads? Yes, we have 8. That is how many we need exactly, which is good. Hey, there we go. Come on, guy. Yes, he's going up the top. It's working. Look at this. So I moved them over to here. They didn't seem distracted by the skeleton. And I think what we have to do is kind of create a containing area at the front, or just something where it means that AI isn't going to look for other locations and they're basically going to come straight up here. Now, they've probably killed that guy. Yep, he's dead. He's dropped XP. So we're only going to get XP from the ones that are closest to us because that stuff right over there is too far away. Yes, this is also an XP farm. I think I forgot to mention that. And now, I've kind of just got to stand here and wait, haven't I? Because we need more mobs to spawn, and we obviously don't have very good rates at the moment. As I mentioned, we don't have a perimeter, so I'm kind of worried about a ghast spawning in the lake over there. I think what I'm going to do is fill this in temporarily, just keep ourselves nice and safe, and then I'll spend some time AFK in there, do some other jobs and things while we wait, and we'll see what happens. Nothing so far. You can hear a whole bunch of death going on up there, but these guys, they just love to run and jump around underneath the hoppers. It looks like they're having a great time, but they're not doing what I want them to do. And I've been talking to Snow Crash, and what we reckon is that all of these blocks underneath the hoppers just mean that they're pathfinding from a different place rather than going up into the area up there. So what I'm now going to do is fill this entire thing with half slabs like this, going all the way down to the ground. I didn't really plan to do that, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have all the materials. It's going to be a lot of block placing, but then hopefully they won't be able to path, you know, below the hoppers, and then they'll come around to this side, and they'll make their way up right here. And yes, I have replaced this with glass. I was thinking, hey, maybe these half slabs right here are stopping them from pathfinding up to the top. So we don't want anything spawning on these, therefore they need to be glass. And of course, as I was replacing these, I was looking at my dogs. They weren't moving around. As soon as I removed the block right here, one of them just ran over and fell into the lava and died, which is unfortunate. So rest in peace, guy. We will get loads of skulls in your name, don't worry. But for now, I'm going to fill in this space under here, and then we'll see if these wolves are going to do their job or not. Okay, we're about 8 minutes or so into this episode, approaching the 10-minute mark, and I'm thinking, hey, I want to make some progress here. But it's just not going so well. I recorded a few clips, decided to delete them because I've been having troubles with this, and, you know, just going through one thing after another, and it not quite working. Now, since I've been AFKing here a lot, the frames in this area have sort of, I don't know, they've kind of gone to hell. They drop down to 15 sometimes. There's lots of lag spikes. So if you see that in the video, yeah, then that's that, and I'm going to restart my computer at some point. But we're almost done with all of the problems here. I've kind of solved all of them, and we're ready to move on to the next step. So one of the last things I think I said I was going to do is fill all of this in with blocks. As you can see, no need to do that, just going to fill in the outside around here. Now we still have some problems with the wolves going around to the wrong sides and standing outside the walls, but I think we're going to be able to fix that, because what I want to do next is work on a kennel area. and Hypno saying something in chat, and that always throws me off. But yes, we want to create a kennel area so that the other hermits can use this farm as well. You know, they can bring their wolves over here, they can have a little kennel area to put them in, and then when they want to use the farm, they need to take out their own wolves and bring them up the top here. So what we're probably going to end up doing is separating this floor right here from the entrance to this farm and make it so that it goes down below into a kennel area. Now there's other things I want to clear out the area down below for, and that means dropping in a ton of sand underneath these half slabs to clear out all of the lava, which I have plenty of sand for. I've brought plenty over with me. Let's go and have a look. It's in one of these chests. There you go. Probably actually going to need quite a lot more because it went down to Y20, I do believe, we discovered in a previous episode. So that's about 10 blocks down, and then we've got to remove, you know, a large area so we can build some kennels underground. We're also going to have an entrance for a train station, which I want to build as well, which will come over from that direction. So lots of things to do. Still trying to get this to work, but I have spent a really long time on this. It's been, I'd say, about 4 or 5 hours of AFKing, maybe a little bit more, and we have 4 skulls in this one, we have 3 in that one right there, so 7 so far, and in this one we've got none, and then this one we've got 4, so 11 in total, and that is absolutely fantastic. I gotta say, you know, it's very comforting now that we have those, because that's 11 right there, but that's another 11 I know I'll be able to get over time, if you see what I'm saying, because we can always go in and AFK in this thing, and the frames are getting absolutely terrible. I just don't understand it. I really want to restart the computer, so I'm going to stop recording in a minute. But as I have kind of mentioned, I'm going to continue working on the farm, AFKing. Let's get all of this lava removed from down here so we can build ourselves some kennels, which I'm really looking forward to, because we've done a lot of, you know, technical work here, and I think it's time for a bit of creative building. And when I look up there, the frames go down to 9, so we know it's all of that stuff up there. We're going to have to walk around looking at the ground when we're in this area, but there we go. I'm pretty sure that is the cause of it up there. That's a lot of noise. That's a lot of noise. It's time to investigate. I think I know what's going on up here. The magma cubes. They are getting caught in this area. We don't have a good way at looking at this anymore. The glass goes all the way up to the top, so we can kind of stand here. And you can just see that the floors are shifting back and forth. And this is my Silk Touch pick, so we're fine. Let's just go down a few blocks here, have a good look inside, and wow, the frames go down. Yep, that's the problem right there. We've got so many of these being activated at once. We've got magma cubes going back and forth constantly. Takes them a while to actually get to the end here. Now, if I go over like this, they might then pathfind to me and come over here a little quicker, so we can help it at the moment. Look at that guy hopping along. But yeah, that is really a problem because that's really hurting the frames. Now, when you're down in the area, it's not so bad because, you know... Oh, that's bad. They've teleported up here. I thought I made them all sit. Oh, you guys better not follow me back down. That's going to be ever so bad. Okay, right, let's get back down and sort these wolves out because there was something else that I wanted to mention about them as well. Oh, you guys, you teleported there. Of all places, you need to teleport over here. Don't worry about those guys. We'll sort them out in a moment. We'll make sure they're safe. There was one that was outside here, and I think he might have teleported away again. I don't know why. They managed to teleport over to this area, but they seem to like it. And I think actually one of the things that they might need to teleport to is a full block, because they chose to go... Oh, and they're still 12 blocks in range, aren't they? So they might not teleport unless we go over to this side. So let's see if they're going to teleport to us now. I don't see anything. Let's put down some solid blocks. Can you teleport to those? Or did you teleport to the glass one? Are you just having a dance? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I didn't see anything going on there. Anyway, there's something else I wanted to mention about these wolves. If you look at their tails, I've completely forgotten about this. Their tails is supposed to be an indicator of their health. Now, I was a little bit worried that I might have to punch one of these guys. You can see this guy's tail is pointing down into the block, whereas this one is sticking up. And that guy's is down as well. That one's a little bit higher. We can see that obviously there is a difference between them. And there's multiple ways to heal these guys. Now, I wanted to make a automatic potion brewing stand, which I thought would be a really cool project to do for health potions. And I don't know where I put them. And I might change that, although I just like the project so much that I feel like I should do it anyway, because you can also heal these guys with cooked meat. So let's nudge you over that direction a little bit. You are not as bad, but you can see can be a little bit better. If we throw this in the middle there you go, it went up a tiny bit. We couldn't really see that, guys, but we can also give these guys some meat. Where is it? There it is. And let's give you a little feed. Oh, look at that, his tail flicks right up, and that seemed to do a lot better than that splash potion, didn't it? So this guy right here, if we click you, your tail went up a significant amount, what appears to be possibly the max. And that's interesting, we get love hearts when they're at the max, so perhaps they have to heal first and then you get the love hearts. Now let's throw, I only picked out one potion. Let's throw another one at that other guy, or we'll find one with a lower tail again. Right, you've got a low tail. It's worrying me how many of them do have low tails. Let's throw it at you and try and hit you nice and on your hitbox. And did that work? Yeah, look, it only came up a little bit, so I think actually the meat is a lot better. Which means we're probably better off making a cow farm or something like that over here than a splash potion farm. I'll tell you what, if you can think of any excuse to make an automatic splash potion farm, whether it be for health potions, for speed, like for speed boost, that could be something. Anything like that, I don't know. Let me know your ideas in the comments because I'd love to build one. I've got a really terrific idea on how to do some of this stuff. And I thought I'd get to put it to use right here. But it looks like we're going to have to build a cow farm of sorts. And we're not going to do it by standing around talking. And you need to come down from up there. You've been a naughty dog. Get down. Let's build a little pathway for him down. Otherwise, he's never going to have a way, is he? So yeah, anyway, like I was trying to tell you, I'm going to be placing in the sand, down in the slabs, and clearing out an area for our kennels. Where did he go? Ah, there he is. Oh, look at this. They've come back to me. If you could see the smile on my face right now, this is fantastic. I've gotten to a point here where, yes, everything is working out. So for a while now, I've been wanting to get on with, you know, moving to the next step, which is building the kennels, and I've felt kind of held back by being unsure about what's going to happen, how we're going to make it work. But I've come up with something here that is working just fine. As you saw, he's gone off up to the top to go and kill a skeleton, which was probably over there. He's probably killed it now. And what we've created here is a way to get these guys up and down without them, I don't know, like getting into this area down here and being a nuisance, basically. So if we walk down this ice little staircase right here, you're probably wondering why it's ice. I'll explain why it is in a second. But if we go down to the bottom here, the guys should follow me down if they're not busy killing with the skeletons. There they come. And they're going to come down into this area right here. And this is the place where we can then tell them to sit, and they're not going to come to us. So now we've got all of this space on either side to build some kennels for the other players who want to use the farm. We can tell them to sit like this. We can go off and do our business. And then we come back to the kennel area. We can pick them up. And what we have to do is walk up through here. So what I was thinking is we need a staircase. And the reason that I've used ice, by the way, is to differentiate it from the glass. Otherwise, it might look a little bit confusing as to where the steps are. So anyway, when we start walking up this, these guys are going to follow us. And if we get too far away, they can teleport, which is one thing that might be a problem. But in general, if you just keep looking, they're going to come up with you. Now when you go into this area right here, when you're standing underneath these trapdoors, that's when it tricks them into walking up the top here. And as you can see, they've only got a small area here to work with. They haven't got all of this open area outside, and that means they're going to hop up into the farm and start killing some wither skeletons. It's amazing. I love it. And I'm so happy because this means we've got a solution and I can just crack on with the grindy work. You know, as I was putting down all of this sand, I was thinking this could all be for nothing. You know, this might not work, but it in theory works and in practice works as well, which is really great. Look at that guy, he's going off there. Who are you attacking this time, my friend? What's going on here? Oh, there's no one up there. He's just having a wander. So yeah, it works, and I'm probably going to change this up. This is kind of temporary. I might make it look a little bit nicer, maybe even make it a little bit bigger as well, which might be a good idea. But that does mean that we can move forward, which is really good. I was worrying about that, you know. I'm sure you've all done projects, you know, big projects before, and there they are teleporting. Interesting stuff, they can do that then. So it might be a little bit of a problem if they don't teleport into the area when you're heading up. I'll try and trick them into doing that, you know. I'll make my way up there as quick as I can, maybe use an ender pearl and see what happens with them teleporting. But as I was saying, I'm sure some of you have done big projects before, and you get to a point where you have to start making decisions, and later on they might kind of come back and bite you a bit if you do them wrong. But that works, so I'm happy about it, and I'm going to crack on, continue doing this. Progress is slowly being made, but I have been hit by a wave of inspiration that I need to tell you about. You can see things have changed right here. I realised that staircase we had was kind of silly, and we could take the same concept of them having a path, you know, just one path up to the top here, and make it look pretty. So what we're going to do is have this 3 wide segment branch off on either side, and then that creates a really nice entrance for this area. So let's pop down here. You can kind of see one half of it. We're going to have another half over there. I've got a lot of lava to remove. This thing is ridiculous. We're going to need a lot more sand, but then it means we can get creative and build something fantastic, and I can get my aesthetics on and look at building like a cool little entrance area right here. So at either end of this area we're going to have kennels going off into the distance, and then right here what we can have is an entrance to another room through there, and then it leaves this space open, which is important because let's just remove that. This is the entrance over here, and I wanted to have a minecart track that runs underneath. And look at this guy, he's trying to get a sneaky peek in to see what I'm doing. But then that just means we've got a lot of space here to kind of build the entrance from the minecart track, and an entrance for this bit, which will probably be staircases going down on either side mirroring this. But it's going to look very cool, and I can't remember if I mentioned it or not. The ice, by the way, the reason that I'm using that is because it will stop mobs spawning on it, like the glass, but we wanted to use something different. Anyway, I got loads of ideas. I cannot wait to get started on building. This thing is going to look seriously cool. So I've been hanging out on the plot world doing some building, and I gotta say, it's really nice building on there, but it's not as dark and gloomy as it is in the Nether, and this isn't going to look quite the same, and adding lots of light to it is going to be difficult because of the ice. But we're going to crack on and do this anyway. And since we last recorded, I've been over to the desert, as you can see, getting loads more sand, which is going to be quite useful. But on my way back from there, I had the dogs teleporting to me. 3 of them teleported over, and they were all sitting down when they teleported, which is kind of worrying. You know, bugs in Minecraft are a usual thing, but dogs and teleporting in the Nether, where there's lava and lots of baddies, it doesn't seem like the best of ideas, does it? But anyway, what I want to do right next is actually add some glass, and I was thinking, oh man, stained glass, that's going to take a while to get. And then I realised, wait a minute, we've got loads of glass over here already, we've got loads of sand, and we've got the dye, which we're going to use as bone meal, from the farm itself, which is awesome. So the place that I want to put this is over the front, coming down from the ceiling. So I'm going to show you what that's going to look like a little bit. But let's talk about this right here. So you can see we've got the ice path going up. What I've done is I've kind of extended it back, so it goes, the next row comes across by 1, and then the next one after that by 2, and it gives it a real nice kind of dimensional look. And then behind that, and that block shouldn't actually be there, I don't think. Behind that is stone bricks, and I tried lots of different materials, you know, bright ones, darker ones, and even some packed ice behind there, and I felt like stone was actually the best texture to put right behind the glass. So that's why it looks like that instead of having the nether brick continue. And we're going to do something down here, have a little entrance to a kind of an area full of information. But this is the way that I want to do the glass. I want to have it just come across like this. It's going to enclose the whole thing up. It's going to add a little bit of stained glass, which can cause some frame rate issues, but I think for the quantitative amount that we're using here, and also that it's all the same colour, it shouldn't be too intense at all. And it's just going to come down like this from one side to the other. So if we just hop round here, you'll get a good idea of what that's going to look like. It's going to look pretty neat, I think. Again, it's a little bit more gloomy than it is on... Oh, ghost keys! We've got ghost keys! Sometimes that happens. I wasn't pressing any keys then. But yeah, it's looking a little bit gloomy. I'm kind of disappointed about that. I might look into adding some light, but for now we're just going to continue cracking on with this thing. It's still laggy when they're up there. The magma cubes really do cause some issues, but we've got tons of skulls from this thing. I think we're approaching 20 now, so everything is going good. And the little baby pigmen, by the way, they can make their way out of the farm. That's still something I have to correct. You just got to put a couple of snow layers in at the front, and it tricks the pigmen into thinking they can't escape, but the dogs can still get in there. But yes, that's it. This guy looks so funny. So I'll be back with you when I've made some more progress. This episode has been one of those episodes, and I really like the F5 screen. I've been using this way too much lately, haven't I? Yes, this happens every now and then. You know, you're trying to do something and it just takes you a lot longer than you would anticipate it would. Now, we have actually made like a lot of progress here, but it just doesn't feel like I got to where I wanted to go. You know, I wanted to have the dog kennels and a bunch of other projects here done. And I literally spent, you know, the couple of days that I dedicate to doing these episodes, going through all the different tasks, and we are nowhere near where I wanted to be, but I've certainly put the time in, and I think one of the biggest time consumers are these areas over here where you have to put in the sand and then empty it out manually. That really has taken a ridiculous amount of time, I got to say, and I just feel like, you know, a lot of this episode wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, so I really do hope you have been entertained. We are making terrific progress here, trust me. This is all going to add up to something really amazing. I haven't checked on how many skulls we've got on in a while, have been doing little bits of AFKing where I'm doing other things, you know, in between playing. So 3 in that one, that should be the far one because it had loads of sand in it. And whatever one we did click on, this one has 2. As you can see, that's a different chest. So 5 there. Can we get 6? No. Let's go over to this side. And I think that was the far one. So that one's got 2. And the close one has none. So that was 7, I do believe. So 7 more skulls there, you know, coming in nicely. And at the moment, it looks like we need to do another round. Yeah, you can see I've been working on this area because the wither skeletons build up. And usually, there's loads of them on that side and none on this side. But actually, the last bit that I did was over there. So let's just grab a doggy to come and help us. There were a couple of things I was supposed to talk about here. And I've kind of completely forgotten about it, so I can scratch my head for a minute while these guys go and kill the withers. And I'm always jumping up and down like this to have a look, you know. When I'm AFKing here, I'll come back and I'll see what the dogs are up to. It's ever so funny. Anyway, let's just wait here for a moment and let them do their thing. Okay, you can sit down. The other guy's gone back up there. It's always a good idea to make them sit while they're in sight. Otherwise they teleport you and sometimes into a tricky situation. However, all of this is getting cleared out and I think he just teleported down there so you can sit. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is something you may have noticed. I haven't really talked about it too much. As well as doing this, I actually built the wall over here and you can see that I put in some cobblestone. And where I've been walking around nattering, you've probably had a good look at that already. So one of the things I've done here is put sea lanterns behind the white glass. Now that looks really great together. Maybe the green against the purpley nether brick isn't so great, but I am thinking about replacing that with a black or maybe a dark grey, and then it'll probably fit in a little bit more. But I'm happy with this. This looks really cool, something I built on my plot world, and I love going into creative and building. It's really fun just to be able to fly around, you know, with a different palette of bricks, try different things until you get something that you like. And this is definitely a strange build. I'm now starting to think about how the roofs are going to come over the top because we want our entrance to actually kind of come down into this area. And that's going to be a strange thing as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement that, but I do have a few ideas. And we're going to have dog kennels on the side. And yeah, I put some lighting down here in the ground. In the middle over there. This is going to lead into some room with information on how to use the farm and other things like that, like who created it. I want to put a little sign for Snow Crash there, and also there's some lighting up there. None of it melts the ice, which is awesome. And that's pretty much everything. By the way, this wall right here, I had to swim in the lava to place it. That was an absolute pain. I'm not going to do that again, so the walls are going to wrap around the sand on the outside. And there's more of this to be done, which I'm hoping I can get done by the time the next episode comes round, or maybe the one after that. I'm not sure what we're actually doing next episode because we might be doing some wither fights, which would be the next logical step. But yes, a large area over here needs to be cleared out for the rooms that connect to this bit. And I'm also thinking this isn't really too big for a group of kennels. I'd look at this area right here and I could say you could probably make about 3 or 4 patches for a group of dogs to put them inside, you know, a fenced off area. And with 2 of those, that's going to be, what, 6 to 8? And we have more than 6 to 8 people on the server. So it may just be a case of, you know, just having to put a bit more time into this area and then getting it done in a future episode. Anyway, I do have time to do some more things. Probably not too much, but I'll see what I can do. So it's been a couple of hours since I last recorded, and absolutely nothing here has changed. I have got caught up on my Plot World server. I was over there doing some redstone, just having a fantastic time, and I came up with a really cool little creation that I'm really pleased with. I'm going to do a tutorial on it soon, but I'm kind of disappointed. I planned on doing so much more over here, been distracted with that, and there's just a lot of grindy work in front of us at the moment. So anyway, let's click on the chest here and you can see that we have 30 wither skeleton skulls. Of course, when on the other server, which is actually running right now, I'm going to AFK over here so we continue to get those skulls. And 30 means 10 wither fights, that means 10 beacons. That's absolutely brilliant. And what I'm thinking is for future episodes, I'll perhaps try and plan to do 2 things, like we do a little bit of work over here and we do a little bit of something else to break it up and to not always be in the nether. But I do hope you have enjoyed this one. It didn't go to plan. We did do a lot of work. It may not look like it, but this stuff takes a long time, especially figuring out how to get this thing to work with the dogs. But we got there, so it means everything moving forward is all positive, which is great. And next episode, very likely we're going to be fighting some withers, maybe even 10 of them. Who knows, you'll have to wait and see for that one. But that's it for this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, it will be greatly appreciated. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.